Hey guys, your boy Rs, back at it again with another video. And wow, a lot of shit has happened in the past couple of weeks, so I'm just gonna start talking about it. I have no script. We're just gonna hop right into it, starting with Silverwolf. Now, for those that have watched my predictive tier list, I said that Evanesha had higher value than Silverwolf unless they make some very drastic changes to Silverwolf's kit. And then they did exactly that. They effectively Nova flared her kit halfway through the beta. So that's a thing that happened. Now it looks like Silverwolf is going to be objectively much higher value than Evanesha and all forms of investment. Not to say that Evanesha isn't still really, really good. She is. I'm still pulling for her. But Silverwolf is most likely going to be much better. She has less barriers to entry, it feels like to me. In terms of free to play capabilities, Silverwolf and Evanesha are fairly even on that front, except that weirdly enough, Silverwolf can be used with Asta now because she's a speed scaler. So that's a pretty weird realization to come to because Asta is literally the first 4-star that everybody gets. So yeah, Silverwolf is now very free to play friendly. Obviously, Sparksy is still going to be one of her best in slots. However, the fact that you can slot in other speed supports, whether it be Ruan or Asta, is definitely of great boon to Silverwolf. Granted, I haven't seen anyone attempt to use Ruan, but given the fact that she provides 10% passive speed to the entire team, there should be synergy from that front. Unfortunately, one of the units that didn't get a big win here is the Elation Trailblazer. The Elation Trailblazer is still just very mediocre, and as a matter of fact, they appear to be worse than when we started. I don't understand how that's possible, but the E6 went from being good, then they changed it so that it would have more synergy with Silverwolf. Then they changed it again to boost their own personal damage. Whose idea was this? Why did they do this? Maybe it's to sell a new Elation support down the line, but wow. To go from Remembrance Trailblazer to this variation of a Trailblazer is jarring, to say the least. Now, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I believe that the Elation Trailblazer is still better for the Elation path than the Remembrance Trailblazer is, but even though I've heard that from players that are significantly better than me, I have a very hard time believing it. That's all I'm saying. The Elation Trailblazer is that much of a disappointment now. Like I said, them changing the E6 to be a personal damage buff is a colossal L. I'm personally probably not going to end up building the Elation Trailblazer. And instead, for my Evanesha team, I'm probably just going to use E2 Robin. There's synergy there because they revise Evanesha's kit so that she has actual follow-ups in the kit, like her Fox effectively is considered a follow-up now. So that immediately gives her synergy with Robin. Robin will provide her with attack, res pen. At E2, she'll get speed. She'll get more actions, which will allow her to skill more often, which will allow her to build up energy easier. I'm probably just going to use my E2 Robin. I'm going to continue to use my Remembrance Trailblazer. I'm not using Elation Trailblazer. If somebody else is going to be using them, all power to you. I don't blame you for it. But if I'm in a position where I can use my E2 Robin, I'm going to use my E2 Robin. That's the way I see it. I have no desire nor the care to attempt to cost scam or do low cost clears. So I'm not going to use the Elation Trailblazer. I'm just going to use what's comfortable for me, what makes sense for me. So that's what I'm going to do. Circling back to Evanesha. Evanesha got slightly nerfed. However, she is still insanely strong, so it doesn't really matter that much. If you like Evanesha, she is not going to be like massively weaker than Silverwolf. She is weaker, but it's not massively weaker. And even her being weaker than Silverwolf doesn't matter much, because as a main carry, she is still going to be stronger than the vast majority of DPSs in the game, especially for the entirety of the version. So I think that's still going to be a good pickup for a lot of players. But what has been bothering me the most out of all of this for the anniversary and the phases for version 4.2 are the warps, the reruns. So for phase 1, we have Dahlia, Casterus, Firefly. That tracks. All those units are high value, even Casterus. And I'm honing in on Casterus because I already know that there's going to be someone trying to spread propaganda that Casterus is not good. Casterus has one of the highest usage rates in the entire game, and on top of that, she has some of the best clearance data in the entire game. She's still high value. You can't cope your way out of it. Stop spreading these bullshit narratives. Casterus is still very good. Anyway, going on to phase 2 is where I have a problem. So we got Tribby, Sunday, Facial, and Evanesha. The only unit that has any real value here is Evanesha. Facial, I'm a Facial Glazer. I would not recommend pulling her at this time. So, don't know why they added her. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I get that they released Ashvale. However, it's not a perfect fit. It's not perfect synergy. And therefore, unless they plan on Nova Flaring Facial somewhere along the line, I can't recommend anybody pull for her at this time. Sunday got power crept by Sparkle. Isn't best in slot on any major archetype in the game. So that leaves Tribby. Now, unless you're going from E0 to E1, there is legitimately no reason to pull for this character. She's not best in slot in any of the major teams in the game. She's not best in slot in Dot. She's not best in slot in Super Break. She's not best in slot in Remembrance. And she's not best in slot in Elation. So the only thing that you can cope on the fact is that she's good with Ashvale, except that when they get to the point where they actually fully construct the premium follow-up team, she's not going to be on it. And that's of legitimately no surprise to anyone that has any common sense, because the developers have obviously been going out of their way to construct their cookie cutter teams for these different archetypes. And they're not going to allow a character who is, by their own definitions, by their own tags within the game, is a AoE attack support, meaning that she's an erudition support. They're not going to allow her to be a best in slot for follow-up. It doesn't make any sense, and anyone who tries to argue otherwise is coping out of their mind. So once that premium follow-up team comes out, she is going to be best in slot effectively nowhere, and therefore has some of the lowest value in the game currently. At the very least, Robin and HuoHuo are completely free, so that's great, along with the HuoHuo, but she is like in a very, very bad spot, because there's nothing that she does that's better than her contemporaries, really, aside from maybe having a better base amp at E0 and her attack frequency. But that's about it. If you're looking for a team or even just a unit that can completely fry Pure Fiction, as an example, at E1, you'd be better off just waiting for Cyrene to come out. Because if you look at average player data, Cyrene has been deleting the fuck out of Pure Fiction, and she's been deleting Pure Fiction since her release. That includes the entire Remembrance path for the most part, because it oversaturates an AoE to begin with. So outside of Pure Fiction, I don't know why she got put in this phase. It doesn't make any sense to me. So if I were to look at this from the perspective of Hoyoverse, phase 1 feels like, hey, let's have these guys spend their money and their resources here. And phase 2 is largely a skip outside of Evanesha. If you're going from E0 to E1 on Triby, valid, because E0 Triby is very copium. But if you're starting from scratch, fuck no. Don't pull this unit. There are a lot of glazers that are going to try to sell you on this unit. Don't waste your time. Like, if you're a newer player, average player, whatever it is, you're going to need more specific supports if you want to actually be able to comfortably clear and extend well beyond that. And Triby objectively does not allow you to do that because, again, she's not best in slot in any major team in the game, aside from maybe Asheville's currently. And he is supposed to be slotted onto a different team that Triby's not going to be on. So this is very strange to me. Now, I was asked the question by one of my subscribers, and they were saying basically, well, why is that a problem exactly? You know, we should be glad that we have a skip patch, like, or maybe should things be split out? And my issue is that there shouldn't be a skippable patch in Anniversary. And the reason why is because for newer players that are coming into the version, you want to give them as many options as humanly possible to invest in a top 4 or 5 archetype. And they have been doing a great job of doing that thus far. They made it easy to invest in the dot. They made it easy to finish your archer team. They made it easy for you to get into Super Break, easier to get into Remembrance. But what exactly is happening over in phase 2? There's none of these units are best in slot in any of the major archetypes. So I don't agree with that. I don't particularly like that at all. And I think that if an Anniversary is going to be an Anniversary, that it should be special. There should be high value units across the board. I don't think there should be a quote unquote skip patch. That doesn't make sense to me. This Anniversary itself just feels like it was rushed and they're just trying to go through the motions and move on. I saw people talking about a Silverwolf 999 car, and I had no idea what the fuck anybody was talking about. I thought there was some meme that I was missing. I literally was going through Hoyo Lab and I fucking saw it. They actually said that one of their big announcements is that there is a literal, I am not joking, a literal Silverwolf 999 car. What the actual fuck is that? What is that? A car? You want people to be driving around with a Silverwolf 999 car? That's what surprises are in Anniversaries now. I don't understand. I really don't. So moving on from the Warps and Evanesha and Silverwolf, I'm just going to quickly go over the winners and losers of the Nova Flare. For the winners, it's obviously going to be Welt and Firefly, and the losers are going to be Sele and HuoHuo. I'm kind of upset about this because they basically didn't resolve HuoHuo's primary sustain issue, and they didn't do enough with Sele to make her more meta viable, and that's very damn disappointing to me. The only reason why I could think that they would do this is because they plan on dropping a more specific elation support down the line and didn't want HuoHuo to tread on that support. But effectively allowing units to be worse for the sole purpose of allowing a more premium version of that unit to come out and sell well is a grimy move. Making a more powerful HuoHuo would have been more beneficial to everyone, and therefore everyone holds a colossal L because HuoHuo is not better as a result. And if you're a newer player or a free-to-play player, I'm still going to recommend her because it's not like she's bad. She's still a good sustain unit. It's just extremely disappointing that she's not better. And that's where my issue lies. Now, Seele objectively got much better, but it didn't go far enough. Her kit allows her to at least proc Resurgence without needing a kill now. But like I said, they could have gone much further than that. It feels like they did the bare minimum here. When you compare what they did to Welt as an example, and then you look at Seele, you would understand what I mean by that. Welt got one of the biggest... No, this is objectively the best Nova Flare I've ever seen. It just is. It's the best Nova Flare I've ever seen. I don't understand the purpose of it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know who this is for. Unless you own a E4 or higher Welt, this is not of great importance to you. I'm not sure who this is supposed to be a buff for. Like, who is this buffed Welt supposed to be slotted onto a team with? Is it supposed to be Acheron? Is it supposed to be some upcoming team? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, which is the reason why I said that he was lower priority. But the units that were lower priority got the better Nova Flares, and the units that should have been higher priority because they benefited more players got shafted. So yeah, this has been one of the anniversaries and betas of all time, and I'm just glad that it's over at this point. So TLDR, Evanesha and Silverwolf are very powerful, but Silverwolf has more value. The Elation Trailblazer is extremely copium and a waste of one of the most interesting Trailblazer designs of all time. Welt got buffed to the moon for no discernible reason. Seele and HuoHuo got shafted. They're good, but they could have been way better. And Firefly is Firefly. She's the best Super Break unit in the game. She is most likely going to be top 3 or top 5 DPS by the end of the version. If I had to guess, I would say top 3. I made a prediction last year, and I said that the top 3 teams in the game, or at least I should say the top 3 archetypes, was going to be Remembrance, so Mono Rim, the Super Break team led by Firefly, and then the Elation teams. So that's my prediction, and it seems like that prediction is going to end up being true because Remembrance is still insanely powerful. Ever since Cyrene has come out, I have 3-starred the King each time that the Anomaly Arbitration has reset. And I have also accomplished my goal of 3-starring the entirety of Anomaly Arbitration since Cyrene has released. So I don't see Remembrance falling off in this version. It's most likely going to be top 3 for the entirety of this version. People are coping out of their minds thinking that somehow, some way, Mono Rim is going to fall off. They're going to do this, that, and the third in order to slow it down. It doesn't matter. You can't counter this team. You can't stop this team. It's not counterable. It's just not. If you think it is, you're wrong. You're a hater. Just say you're a hater. You're wrong. And if you don't believe me, that's cool. But I have shown on my own account that every time that I put my Mono Rim against either side's of Memory of Chaos, I 0-cycle it. Every time. Without exception. It doesn't matter who the boss is. They get 0-cycle. Pure Fiction, either side, 40,000 points. Anomaly Arbitration, any night, easy 3-star. Every time. And more times than not, is a 0-cycle. Apocalyptic Shadow, bare minimum 3,600 points. The King, 3-starred every time. You think that's being countered? You think that can be hard countered? Y'all gotta tell me what drug dealer y'all using so they can pass me whatever good shit y'all are smoking on. That's my thoughts on all this stuff. Let me know what you guys think of this anniversary. like I said, this wasn't that great of an anniversary to me. At the very least, we get a free Robin and HuoHuo or a HuoHuo. You also got 30 free pulls. That's going to be coming out for everybody, so that's great. But beyond that, I'm just going to be pulling for Evania, get my E2 Robin, get my HuoHuo, and call it a day. But let me know what you guys think of this anniversary. To me, it is very underwhelming. This beta has also been very underwhelming. The stuff that I wanted to see happen didn't happen, and the things that I didn't want to see happen ended up happening. It is what it is, I guess. Hopefully in version 4.3 or 4.4, whenever that big announcement is supposed to be coming, I can finally get my excitement and my passion back for this game, because right now it is very, very much been dropped. My expectations have been very much lowered. So hopefully with these low expectations, once version 4.3 or 4.4, whenever that announcement is going to come through, I can finally be blown away and be excited about the game. But that's all for me. Your boy Scrub Hero R's is out.
Hidden my strength aside, my grief and sorrow. Keeping the light on in the dark place was a pain. Been trying to be the best, it's been a war within. Losing, but I felt like I was born to win. I was born to win, I was born to be great. The sun may never shine upon the hill.